One man is dead tonight following a three-car collision on Cowpen Road. Our news on the scene. Plus, proper regulation to be first and foremost. The health minister continues to allay public concerns amidst cannabis discussions. And later, the Our News Weekend summer staycation continues. A local travel enthusiast is our resident tour guide through beautiful Harbor Island. The details for these stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. A three-car collision on Cowpen Road East has left a 51-year-old man dead and another with injuries. Those vehicles include a black Nissan Note, a white Mercedes-Benz, and a white Mitsubishi Canter. Police were called to the scene around 9 p.m. Friday night. Our news on the scene as officer in charge of the traffic police station, Chief Superintendent Eugene Strawn, gave the details.
EMS was called to the scene and pronounced a Caucasian male deceased. Our preliminary inquiries into this matter revealed that a dark-colored Nissan Note was traveling east along the corridor when for some reason he veered into the lane of the westbound traffic, making contact with a white sedan and subsequently continuing along east along Cowpen Road when he collided into a lorry, which was also traveling west along Cowpen Road. Subsequent to the collision, an adult male passenger in the lorry received injuries and subsequently was taken to PMH for medical assistance. We can also report that EMS, after examining the male of the black sedan, pronounced his body lifeless.
The lone female driver of the white Mercedes-Benz, who was traveling west along the same corridor, sustained no injuries. Chief Superintendent Strawn is once again making this appeal to the motoring public.
We will always send a clarion call that all individuals who traverse the street of New Providence and the Family Island, for that matter, should adhere to the speed regulations and drive to arrive alive.
Meantime, airports, banks, and businesses around the world were left scrambling Friday morning after a routine software update at a major cybersecurity company triggered a global tech meltdown in critical industries. Here in the Bahamas, local banks were also offline, causing an issue for many customers. While some were initially concerned it could be a cyber attack, cybersecurity CrowdStrike came forward early Friday saying the glitch and resulting outages were due to a routine software update and was not a cybersecurity incident. It's an issue a senior cabinet minister says they are looking at and its potential impact. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville says they will also look at how this will impact the private sector.
Looking at the Microsoft glitch, I know many business communities are affected. I can imagine our hotels, which are strictly cashless, they would be affected. But I'm understanding that we do have certain card holders that can still utilize the system. But all of us in the government is very concerned about it, particularly in the areas of revenue collection. We're looking at it. I cannot comment in full details the impact it's having. But as I read through the literature, I could tell you that it's creating an impact around the world.
Meantime, as government is taking another step toward the legalization of cannabis for medicinal use, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville is assuring only licensed professionals will be able to distribute the drug. His comments came following a question about the government's defense against false prescriptions and unlicensed individuals dispensing cannabis.
Any physician who found to be in violation of writing controlled substances for illnesses that is not associated with the treatment of cannabis or by illnesses that do not exist, they are in violation of the Medical Act. And in the bill, we have crafted the riders that anyone is found in violation will be prosecuted and fined.
The legislation aims to create a controlled system for cannabis use for medical and religious purposes. The bills will remove cannabis from the list of dangerous drugs and allow for the expungement of records for individuals convicted of the possession of 30 grams or less of marijuana. Darville says the most important aspect will be ensuring the industry is properly regulated.
If it's not regulated, it will not be successful. And so we intend to make sure that it is successful. That's the reason why we've been dealing with this for 4.5 years. And we are one of the last countries in the Caribbean to get on board. So we have a wide cross-section of information that we've learned from many people who are currently in the industry. And rather than jumping in it the way how they've done it, we have crafted it for the Bahamian experience.
This week, Grand Bahamians have been furious with the Grand Bahama Power Company. This as residents have been experiencing frequent power outages for weeks now. The outages are sometimes lasting hours at a time. Power officials confirmed with Our News 2 weeks ago the frequent outages were due to challenges with their largest generating unit. Now, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the regulator of the GBPC, responding to concerns in a statement Thursday afternoon. GBPA officials say they have been assured by GBPC that the current issues will be resolved by the beginning of next week at the latest. Central Grand Bahama MP Iram Lewis, who lives in the Seahorse Village community, says the power issues are new to the island of Grand Bahama and is already becoming unbearable for residents.
It's now almost expected, and that's an expectation that we don't need, that we don't want. So whoever need to fix it. People are paying their bills. The bills are much higher than they used to be. So if I'm paying those exorbitant prices, then of course I expect to receive the service. And again, with the solar or the hybrid system not coming on stream, I don't know what component of that will be used for the consistency. Whatever needs to be done because, again, the heat wave is here and there's a lot of discomfort for the consumers.
And with other projects set to come on stream on the island, like Carnival Cruise Line's multi-million-dollar Celebration Key, some have questioned how will the power giant handle the load. The Central Grand Bahama MP shares his views.
I'm hoping that they will put substations at those points, and that will be able to service, particularly the cruise ships, because one of my contention with cruise ships now, I know they say they're going to LNG, but when they come to the port, they turn the generators on, and they're adding to the carbon footprint. So I'm hoping that facilities will be in place where our policy will not allow them to crank up those turbines in port, and they'll hook up to our power source. But again, you need sufficient so that the power source that they will use at Celebration Key will not draw from the challenge that we have as it stands now.
When Our News Weekend comes back from the break, supporting a dream, our Jean Joseph shares the story of a local novelist chasing goals. Plus, Bahamians breaking barriers. We'll tell you about the 21-year-old recently named as one organization's very first international regional representative. That's coming up when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
What started out as a random Twitter poll turned into a vehicle for an aspiring writer to fund her education. Hear of Ashley Roll's journey to a master's degree in this next piece by our Jean Joseph.
Ashley Roll's dream of becoming a novelist now within her reach. This as she pursues a master's degree in creative writing at St. Mary's University. Though a seasoned writer, Ashley undertook one of her more meaningful projects when her grandmother passed. She says writing her novel, The Ancestor Training Academy, made her want to learn more about her craft.
I started writing in 2011, but I started working on my current novel, The Ancestor Training Academy, in 2020. I realized that I wanted to be able to see the I wanted to give the novel its best success by going into a program that'll help me flush it out.
Ashley's love for writing has also led to the creation of the Bahamian Citizenship Test, a platform engaging countless residents and inviting them to log on and assess their knowledge of all things Bahamian. The test, which began on Twitter, now X, grew into a platform for people to also support Ashley's writing journey through donations and purchases.
The Bahamian Citizenship Test actually started as a result of just a random Twitter poll. So I thought, why not create a program that allowed people to get in touch with their cultural identity, their cultural history, while also donating to my educational cause. So the test is free, but because the test is also structured like a school situation, essentially you can donate to the tuck shop on the BahamianCitizenshipTest.com.
The program ended with an online graduation ceremony and an in-person event where quiz takers got a chance to meet the creator and collect their barrel bags, which included limited edition shirts, paraphernalia, and tokens from the event's sponsors.
The event is just structured as a regular kickback. We wanted a space where everyone who participated digitally can have a physical space to be able to interact with one another, talk about the quiz, talk about what they liked, what they didn't like, everything that frustrated them.
Although this season has ended, you can read drafts of the Ancestor Training Academy and make donations towards Ashley's graduation on the site. Reporting for Our News, I'm Gene Joseph.
Thanks so much, Jean. Well, a 21-year-old Noel Seymour makes history as the first Southern regional representative of a sorority from the Bahamas. Noel Seymour, a member of the Epsilon Zeta chapter at the University of the Bahamas, was appointed recently as the organization's very first international regional representative. Seymour told us that the decision to join Delta Sigma Theta was influenced by her mother, a dedicated member who instilled in her the values and principles of the organization. She says she applied for the position aiming to further the sorority's mission and to make a meaningful impact on a much larger scale.
It is very historic. I think it means a lot for not only me, but Bahamian stores in general, or international stores in general, I should say, as being, I would be the first international collegiate person to be elected to this position, as well as serve on the National Board of Directors. So it is a huge step for international stores and Bahamian stores.
Seymour also shares her challenges leading up to her selection for the position.
Because I'm from Bahamas and the majority of my region who I'll be representing is, Tennessee, Mississippi, Georgia, I was just thinking, okay, I have to reach these stores from the States to try to convince them to vote for me. How am I going to do that from the Bahamas? How am I going to reach that much chapters from the Bahamas? And I guess just networking or trying to get those stores to know me, know what I stand for, and believe in me enough to vote for me. That was a huge, daunting task. I am very honored and blessed to be in this position. I want to thank all the stores who prayed for me, who believed in me, and who voted for me to be in this position.
Students at a local summer camp getting a unique opportunity, learning the skill of robotics. This taking place at the STEM-sational summer camp at Bahamas Baptist University College. In just 3 weeks, students put together these robotics. Their instructor, Therese Newton, telling us students in less than a month learned the skills of coding, assembling, and programming robotics. And get this, the robots, as you can see here, have the ability to maneuver small obstacle courses and even bring a water bottle or television remote to you. We spoke to 2 of the campers.
My favorite part was driving the robot and building it. I think that I'll be an engineer, and how I think it'll be impact the country is I could teach younger people about my experience.
The part that I enjoyed most was the coding of the robots. I would encourage them to learn it because it is a very good trade and there's a lot of jobs that are incorporating robotics.
Students also learned entrepreneurship skills during the program and receive awards for their efforts. The institution's president, Dr. Teresa Adderley Smith, encouraging parents to pour into unique skill sets and plan for the future.
What I want to see from this is that one child in this group today, one of you today, In another 10 years, you're going to change the Bahamas in ways that we cannot even imagine. Where technology will be introduced to agriculture.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, the story of an avid marathon runner. This as Bahamas Roadmasters gear up for the annual half marathon. But first,
the WNBA three-point contest comes down to one shot for Jonquel Jones. Find out what happened next on Our Sports Weekend.
Health?
Good evening, I'm Tage Adderley. We're back with Our Sports Weekend. Jonquel Jones put on a showing at the WNBA All-Star three-point contest last night. We're going to check out her performance. Grand Bahama's Jonquel Jones brought out the fireworks at last night's three-point contest. The New York Liberty forward made it to the finals, advancing on a 25-point semifinal, the highest scoring round in the entire competition. The final round went down to the wire, but unfortunately for JJ, she was unable to carry over the momentum from her white-hot semifinal. She missed the last shot, securing the win for Alicia Gray. Gray also won the skills contest earlier that night. With that out of the way, JJ's attention now turns to tonight's All-Star game. That tips off at 8:30 p.m. We'll have more on that tomorrow. Now we're going to head to the pitch where a couple of Bahamian junior squads faced off against international competition. The boys and girls under-15 national soccer team squared off against OTF Academy, a youth program out of Florida. The girls' side kicked off first. After a hard-fought match, they fell 3-0 to the squad from the Sunshine State. The boys faced off against OTF, and after an intense match, full-time ended in a 0-0 stalemate. The soccer matches will continue throughout the weekend. We are all done with sports for today. For Our Sports Weekend, I'm Tage Adderley.
Thanks so much, Tage. Well, Bahamas Roadmasters is gearing up for their big half marathon in November. But before then, we will share some stories from the club and the lifestyle of running. Here is our Sasha Lightborn.
Michael Cunningham is an avid marathon runner. He got his start back in high school as a long-distance runner. He's also a member of Bahamas Roadmasters Running Club. The club is gearing up for the Bahamas Half Marathon, scheduled for November this year, and have launched a campaign to promote the same. Cunningham shares a little of his personal story when it comes to marathon running and how it's changed his life.
I've done over 30 marathons, right? I enjoy doing it. It's a great hobby. I believe it's not a very expensive hobby. If you're going to do it, if you're not going to travel, it's not very expensive. And it has a lot of health benefits, right? And in fact, it controlled my hypertension. In fact, it eliminated because of my excessive running and, of course, the change of my diet over the years.
He also shares that preparation is key.
I find that when you go overseas, like running the Chicago Marathon, the London Marathon, Tokyo Marathon, or in Germany, which I've done already, I find that you need to prepare yourself even more. Presently, before running a full marathon, I would get up to like 50 miles per week. Right, sometimes 60 miles per week. And a lot of those days I would do 10 miles. On weekends you're doing 18, 20 miles. So you are adequately prepared. So when you get there, you're able to at least cover the first 21, 22 miles comfortably and then maybe coast for the last several miles.
And Glenward Bain agreed. Unlike other sports, Bain says running is more physical than mental.
Now when you're running against yourself. You're running to beat your last time or to get what they call a PR, right? A personal record. And you're running to see how your training is going to pan out. Training is the biggest part of running marathons. If you don't train weekly, I want to say daily, but you don't have to run every day because, sometimes you have to get yourself revitalized and so if you do a hard run you want to take a day or two off, and before doing a hard run you want to take a day or two off.
He also says the tennis you choose to run in are crucial to proper running.
Tennis is extremely important because when you're running on a road surface, you're running on a very hard surface. It's not like you run on the beach, and the shock comes up on every step through your ankles to your knee, and there's a lot of damage could be done if you're not protecting yourself from that impact. I use a tennis called hookah, right? Some people use Saucony, some people use, and all of these tennis are really high cushioned to absorb that impact from that shock coming back up your legs to cause you to have leg injuries.
Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Thanks so much, Sasha. On the other side of this break, it's time to pack your bags for a quick trip to Harbor Island. Stick with us. Welcome back. And now it's time for a look at temperatures across the archipelago. Meteorologist Ian McKinsey joins us now from the Weather Center. Ian.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. We're currently outside our studios. We're under 87 intermittent clouds. Oof. Feels like temperature 96, sweltering on the outside. Stay hydrated, folks. Winds out east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Current temperatures across the country at this time in our nation's second city, Freeport. We have 86, also in Allenstown and Governor's Harbor. 87 in Great Harbor Key, the capital. 88 in Nicholson, 85 in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Central Bahamas, 87s continuing in Camps Bay, 85s in Georgetown, Deadman's Key, Coburntown, and in Arthurstown, Kidd Island. In the southeast Bahamas, 85s in Duncantown, Colonel Hill, 84 in Delectable Bay, 83 in Abrahams Bay, 86 in Matthewtown, and also in Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. First look now at our satellite and radar imagery. High pressure dominating weather conditions across the northwest and central islands. However, there is an active tropical wave approaching. Turks and Caicos will enter the southeast Bahamas, eventually move to the remainder of the islands, creating some unstable conditions through early week. Boating forecast, small craft caution out there for you for the northwest Bahamas, winds southerly 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4 but up to 6 feet offshore, mainly along eastern shorelines. High tide at 8:01 p.m., low tide at 2:31 a.m. tomorrow morning. The central and southeast Bahamas, there is an advisory in place, winds east to southeast 15 to 25, seas 4 to 6 but up to 8 feet offshore, and those easterly swells that spells trouble for swimmers as well with rip currents. In your extended forecast, we should start to see some moisture from that tropical wave entering in our area, so we're looking at showers through Monday, clearing out through the rest of the week, showers returning on Saturday, highs hanging around the low 90s, with your lows hovering in the low 80s. That's a wrap evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
Well, this week we're continuing to take advantage of all the beautiful islands our country has to offer. And tonight we're heading to Harbor Island. Local travel enthusiast Randia Coakley is giving us an inside look at all of the culinary experiences awaiting you and your loved ones just a short boat ride away in Harbor Island.
You have the options of international cuisines at your fingertips, which is very rare for Family Island. Harbor Island is perfect for foodie because she is only 5 miles by 3.5 or 3.25. And with that small island, you have so much great restaurants and places to eat. So you'll be able to get fresh sushi, a full sushi restaurant on island. You are able to get fresh bakery made from local food goods. You have a lot of farm to table options. And then it's just that place for all the top cuisines that you would expect from Nassau, but on such a beautiful location.
Coakley shares her recommendation for the perfect breakfast spot.
You have to go and get the hot ricotta hotcakes from the London Hotel. It is the best breakfast you will have ever. I'm telling you, their hotcakes are amazing and it's so good.
But it doesn't stop there. She says the island offers a wide array of offerings, some you may not have expected on such a quaint family island.
Divine Sushi is that place to get fresh sushi on Harbor Island. Who would have think you would get fresh sushi, a full-fledged sushi restaurant on such a quaint island? But there's a place called Blue Water that makes these wonderful pastries from local farm-raised ingredients, and they make it all seasonal. So they'll get tomatoes and they'll grow tomato tarts. They'll get guava, make guava jams. Like everything there is fresh and made locally.
And get this, there's even a vegan restaurant called Sweet Spot to meet any dietary need. But once you've had your fill of the variety of culinary offerings, Coakley says it's time to dance the night away.
The best part about Harbor Island is the pink sand beach. So having lunch at the Dunmore is the best place to watch, and people watch, beach watch, and enjoy amazing spin on Bahamian classics and different foods. So you have that you could do. And then for sunset, to get like a sunset cocktail, going to the Bryland Club is a must try. It's the absolutely best place to watch a view, and some of the best mixed cocktails to sip on while you're enjoying the view. And then in case you're into a little party, it's really good if you want to go to the Rock House, because on Saturday they have like a live band and they have tapas, and then to bonus, enjoy and end the night on a big note by going to Daddy Joe's and just dancing the night away. So Harbor Island is the place for foodies, for everyone, every type of person, for vegan, for those who love meat, for seafood, for farm to table, for breakfast lovers, brunch lovers. There's so much options on Harbor Island.
Can't wait to book my staycation. Thank you so much for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening. Great.